Hello.
All right, so now we're going to talk about the grandpa, the hydromatic air screw, as it says on the thing. Yeah. All right, this can be a rather confusing propeller when you're doing research on it because it actually came in several different versions of how it operated with the governor. There was a double acting governor version, a single acting governor version, and I think there were some other versions I found. So I am going to go with the most complicated, the simplest one of all, which would be a single acting governor. And that's what you're used to, is a single acting governor. Pressure in, pressure out. All right, so it's not a lot different than that. It's got a really cool feathering mechanism on it. But if we go through my little slides here, this is a double acting governor. So I'll go through the little slides with the little double acting governor. So you can, I think this double acting, I can't remember. But anyway, the slides are worth looking at. I'm not going to read everything. So it has a gigantic dome in there. Let's see, big old dome inside there. I wonder if I can get it. There we go. That's the insides. If you haven't already looked at the one we have. All of this mechanism here probably weighs 150, 200 pounds. It's very heavy. It's all solid steel, like solid stainless steel stuff. And it works off of a cam, so when the piston goes up and down, it drives this cam mechanism, which then goes to a gear thing that goes to gears on the blades that will rotate the blades. I got a pretty cool movie we'll watch, and you can sleep through it if you so desire, but I like it. All right. Well, maybe go back here. Let's see. There we go. There's the gears on the blades. And then you can see that when you offer up this into that, these gears will mesh with those gears and will rotate. What else do I have on here? I feel like I've added some slides here. I don't remember these slides. Very cool. All right. Oh, I like this one. With any of the propellers we're going to talk about for your oral, and by the way, I'll edit this part out. I cannot do one oral at a time with you guys. Go up to one prop. I don't know, and then because it's going to get that way, and then it's like, all right, go back, and then it's like there's 9 props, so I can't do the oral 18 times with one person. So I'll have to put a limit, like 3. And then if you don't get all 9 props after the 3rd time, it's, you know what, we'll revisit this at the end of the semester, maybe the last 2 days or something. Because you got to be ready. The questions are not hard, I don't think. You have to tell me what forces move a prop to high pitch and low pitch. So let's just start simple. Let's talk about the Macaulay that we had. Typical Macaulay, like I have on my non-twinned aircraft. What forces move the blade to low pitch, high RPM?
Twisting.
And usually one other thing.
No.
You're done. Put your name on the board. That's one. Inside, there's almost always a spring. Spring, oil pressure. Guess we're ready for this one. Spring, oil pressure, spring, spring, spring. So inside there's always or almost always a spring. Okay, so what 2 forces are going to force it towards this particular one, towards low pitch, high RPM? CTF and a spring. Okay, what forces drive it towards high pitch, low RPM? Oil pressure from the governor. You say engine oil, boom, you're done. Put your name back on the board. You could say aerodynamic twisty force if you like. Doesn't do much, but it does a little bit. Okay, so what forces drive this one to low pitch, high RPM? It's not a trick question. We just looked at it. It's the same picture. Oh. Macaulay. What is inside of a Macaulay? Hub. Red dye number.
We don't know.
We don't know. Red dye. What's red dye for?
Cracks.
How hard was that? That was pretty much the entire oral right there on that prop. There's really not too much excuse for either you two. That's why I'm saying I just can't. If you go, oh, I don't know. What's it filled with? Gas? I don't. Grease?
Good intentions.
Good intentions?
Yeah.
Okay, this particular prop here, what moves it towards low pitch high RPM? Right, it's got a very short hub, therefore it is not not feathering. So spring, that. Okay. Got spring. Okay, this is a counterweighted. What forces will make it go to high pitch, low RPM? High pitch, low RPM. Centrifugal twisting force because it has and a spring. A spring. Got a spring. What do you think the springs do? And what makes it go the other way? Okay. Let's see. Spring. Oil pressure. All right. I will ask you questions about. You should be able to look at any one of these props and just kind of figure it out. These drawings are just terrible, so that's why I won't use them. So sorry. When I put them in here, I thought, oh, this is gonna be awesome. What kind of prop is this one? Feathering.
Mm-hmm.
Counterweighted. Who makes it?
Hard soul.
Whoa, that wasn't supposed to do that. What happened? I'm making myself sick.
Clear.
Who makes it?
Hard soul.
How do you know?
Where's the sticker?
The sticker in the back. What prop is this one?
Oh no.
That's steel hub?
Yeah.
Looks like it's. I'm a little hesitant to go on that. Looks a little like, I think I said this yesterday. Looks like a compact down here with an external rod. They may have a beta range on it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't really know. I know it's a hard sole. All right. Feel like I didn't pull that one out. All right. We did that. Oh, here we. All right. We already got this one. Hard sole. Compact. What forces move it towards high pitch, low RPM? Centrifugal twisting force and
Spring.
and
Air.
okay. Air pressure. That wasn't hard, was it?
No.
All right. What keeps? Go back here. What keeps this from feathering on shutdown? Feathering latches. Okay, I don't see them on here. They're down in here somewhere. I don't know how this one works. So, but we do have two props with feathering latches. One of them's kind of hard to figure out. The other one's self-explanatory. Feathering latches typically work off of what forces? Centrifugal forces. All right, so none of those. Are we kind of good with that?
Yeah.
All right. What do we got here? That is the beta link on. Okay, ready for this one? What force do you suppose drives this to low pitch, high RPM?
Centrifugal twisting.
All right, we got that. Centrifugal twisting force. What else?
Spring. Where's the spring?
All right, somebody said spring. That's thinking. I like that. There's no spring.
Yeah, it looks like there's two chambers.
There's no spring. So this one is going to work a little bit different, but it still needs a little help. So on one side, we'll have governor oil pressure, and the other side is going to be constantly fed engine oil pressure. Almost all the time. There'll be an exception to this rule. But otherwise, you just have engine oil pressure, which we'll say is around 60 psi. Always pushing back. Well, how could that be? Like a spring. Spring is always pushing back too, right? Air pressure, always pushing back. So, centrifugal twisting force plus, I don't even think it says that. Low pitch. Centrifugal, I'm not going to read it all. All right, so if we want to go towards high blade angle, low RPM, governor oil pressure is red. We'll push forward on the dome. That will change this cam. That will rotate this. That will rotate that, which will rotate the blade angle. When we want to go to a high RPM, low pitch, the governor will bleed off the oil, let centrifugal twisting force and engine oil pressure bring it back towards low pitch. I should be able to move on right there, but I won't. Let's see what comes after that. Looks cool. I like that stuff. I should use that. We'll go through the slides just for fun. All right, this particular prop, I want to be careful because I think one of them is backwards from the one ours actually is. Oil to the back side, inboard side of the piston decreases the pitch. That is backwards from ours. So if I show this, it's going to, right? So this one actually works backwards from ours. So if I show you this one that works backwards from ours, you're going to be terribly mad at me. So I'm going to skip this. Well, you can look at the little guys here. How's the situation, Gov? Things are on the decrease. So they're under speed. All right, so we're going to bypass that. All right, here we go. So we got the prop. We have inside of here a control valve. A distributor valve is the word I wanted. Distributor valve, which is going to play a very important role. But for the most part, it's just stationary. Just does its thing, doesn't really care. It only comes into play when we're going to feather. This is the valve right there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Right now, it doesn't really have much meaning. I can read that stuff. During normal operation, the distributor valve routes governor oil to the inboard side face of the piston. That is true. And engine oil to the whoa, it is, I did say it backwards. During normal operation, the distributor valve routes governor oil to the outboard face of the piston and engine oil to the inboard side of the piston. I want to say that's really backwards from ours.
Is that inverse?
That's inverse.
Yeah, it's inverse. I told you, this is a tricky one.
Well, that'll be
This is tricky.
Just do the opposite.
All right, so dome assembly comprises the pitch change mechanism, translates oil forces on the double acting piston. That's what double acting tube. All right, I already told you what that is. I'm not going to read it. That's boring. Distributor valve. Got that. Got that. All right, let's get down to this business. All right, where do we go from here? We got that? Yes? So I said on the inboard side, we have governor oil pressure. Does this actually match that?
Yeah.
3. Yeah, 3. Boosted. All right, this is how ours works.
Oh.
Inboard side. Ours is facing up, so it'd be the bottom. That is governor pressure. Governor pressure will move this piston forward. Moving it forward goes towards feather. That goes to high pitch. So centrifugal twisting force plus engine oil, low pitch. Governor oil pressure, high pitch. All right. Here we go. We go into an underspeed condition. If we are at underspeed, it means it's going too slow. We need to do what? Increase governor pressure, flatten things out. Okay, so that's what it's going to do. We go into an underspeed. We can see right there, flyweights have come in underspeed. Just like everything else we've studied. That's why I do this one. All right, so that's going to go. It's going to lift up the pilot valve. We have engine oil coming in from somewhere. Here we go. Engine oil coming. Engine oil coming from the pump right here. I think that's what 15 is supposed to be. Comes up through the governor, through the gears, around the outside. Now it's pressurized. Go through the pilot valve, down the pilot valve, through the transfer collars into the distributor valve. It's looped around, comes up here, fills this space right here, pushes this forward, rotates this piece right here, which rotates the prop towards low pitch. Sure, okay, that's going to go down. That's going to go that way. I'm not going to make you memorize which way things turn. What? You're shaking your head at me.
I thought you said just a minute ago, governor oil pressure on the inside of piston increases pitch and eventually to feather.
On the inboard side?
That's what I wrote. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's what I said. So we are in an. Oh, wait a minute.
You said low pitch.
Hang on.
Backwards
You
version?
said this one was backwards.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah, right now it's saying governor pressure's leaving the hub.
Hang on. I'm going to have to change all these slides. No, this one's right. This one's like ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's like ours. But it says underspeed. So that's to flatten it out.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm just.
Yeah, the arrows are pointing so that the governor
good
pressure
lord.
is leaving the piston.
Yeah, it's leaving.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
results in
And
Oh, got it.
lower
Yeah.
pressure
This is
pitch.
another stupid drawing.
more
Okay.
governor pressure.
It is underspeed, so it has been put into underspeed. All right, so
Okay.
underspeed. My bad. So underspeed. So the piston is now moving towards the left. So underspeed. Underspeed, we have to flatten it out. Flatten it out. So, yes, I can see there. So the pilot valve has underspeeded. We'll just edit that last part out. Underspeeded is drop the pilot valve down, right? Okay, drop the pilot valve down, which means that this governor oil pressure here comes through here and it recirculates.
Has nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to go because we're not sending it to the prop, so it's going to recirculate. Okay. Meanwhile, 25 is going to flow out through here, through our distributor valve, which isn't doing anything, through here and
Back to the engine.
Back to the.
drain off into the engine. All right. Engine oil pressure from the oil pump, main engine oil pump, just going to come through here, and centrifugal twisting force plus engine oil pressure will move the dome to the left, which will change it to
Low pitch.
low pitch. All right. Hopefully I didn't screw you up too bad. Everybody cool with that one?
Yeah.
It's nothing different than we've already studied yesterday. It's the same thing. The only difference is instead of having a spring up here, they're just going to pump engine oil pressure.
Would this type of prop take more oil then? Would this type of prop take more oil?
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
That dome up there, I mean, what is that's probably a gallon?
That's the one that was out there in front of the.
It's red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we're talking about a radial engine. This is going to a radial engine that's going to
Yeah,
have
never mind. Yeah. It's
even the
completed.
small radials I worked on were like 5 gallons, 8 gallons. So it's going to be a lot. All right, overspeed. I think I got this one right. It is an overspeed, so we need to increase the pitch. So when it do overspeed, it lifted up the pilot valve.
Lost oil flow.
Oil is coming from the engine-driven pump up through here, into here, around through there, and now it's allowed to go this way through the pilot valve, out, around, and is filling up this area right here, pushing the piston forward. What's happening to this oil pressure right here? It's still 60 psi or whatever it's set at. It just,
Move the piston.
the red is way more.
Yeah.
So it wins. So it's just going to push against all the 60 psi and out and drain. Okay?
Yep.
It doesn't relieve it. It doesn't stop it. It just pushes it out of the way. Good? Okay. So far easy, right? It doesn't get a lot harder. On speed. On speed.
We're all
Yeah,
good.
everything's.
Government pilot valve blocks everything off, so no oil can get out. No, well, actually,
Yeah, it looks
under.
nice.
We're just under some pressure here. It's just not flowing.
It seals it. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't seal the yellow because you can see the yellow just comes from the engine.
Yeah, not the yellow.
Driven pump,
but
right?
the-
But the red
the
has
pressure.
no way out. It's blocked off right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so boom, we're on speed. Easy?
Mhm.
Okay, that's how it works. Feathering is different. Feathering is actually it's pretty cool. All right. So in feathering, you have some different and new things going on. You have a separate feathering system. So we have an electric motor, an oil pump driven off the electric motor. So this has nothing to do with the engine. Somewhere else. An oil tank, cutoff switch, solenoid, about it, and a feathering button. So when the pilot wants to feather this, the pilot will push the button in and let go. Now it's sad. Some of you guys are too young to have parents that smoked. Between my two parents, they smoked 4 packs a day. So in our car, we had a thing called a cigarette lighter.
Are you
And you push it in,
Heats it up.
and it stays until it gets glowing red hot. You know what we call those things today? Opportunity to learn. A life lesson. Hey, kids. So you'd push it in, and you'd wait. Mom or dad would pull out a smoke, stick it in there, and just get ready. And you hear a pop, and the thing would pop out, little button, and they'd grab it and get that cigarette lit. You guys like, really? You making this up? This is true. So it was like it had a holding coil. When you pushed it in, it stayed in until it glowed red hot. Then it would pop out a little bit. All right, so this has the same thing. It is cigar lighter technology. When you push it in, there is a holding coil. You power off the battery. It's going to push it in. It's going to energize a coil in there. Remember coils and solenoids? It's going to energize it, and it's going to hold the button in. I've never tried, but you might be able to grab it and pull it back out if you change your mind. I don't know how strong it is, but pilot wants to feather, push the button in. Boom. Button stays in all on its own. Why does it stay in on its own?
Holding coil.
Got a holding coil. That is going to go around to a solenoid. Where's my solenoid? Solenoid. What's a solenoid? It's an electrical relay. If we zoom out a little bit, the red lines are really fat, heavy lines. And the little lines are the remote control. So we push the button in, it makes contact. So you can see the contact comes up through there, through that contact right there, through that contact. Comes around over here, there, makes contact, energizes the coil, and boom, battery voltage comes around here, through the switch, into the motor, and the motor starts turning. Are you with me so far?
Yes.
Because if I lose you right now, then it's not going to be... So I can say it again if you want. All right, so now we got the oil pump running. Oil pump's running.
Mm-hmm.
Got that oil supply right there. It's running. And this pump, I don't know why they use red again because that's not a wire. Oil pressure is going to go through here, a little switch right there, pressure sensing switch, and up into the governor. And this is what happens. Remember how on this side right here before we had high pressure? And high pressure made it do what?
Push up the engine.
Push it and it went to what? High pitch or low pitch? High pitch.
High
Pitch, yeah.
Okay, just give it more. So it is going to come through the governor. It's got a cutout switch right there that is going to stop the governor from acting. So the governor has no say in it. Pilot valve go up or down. So yeah, shut up. Okay, so that electric pump that we're now running is going to boost oil pressure around through here, through the valve, just like before when it was red, come around and just like before it was in here, was red. Nothing has changed. It's just now the pressure is coming off an electric pump. And the pump doesn't know anything. It just knows pump. And it is going to start pumping. And it's going to continue pumping until this dome goes all, or the piston goes all the way to the end. Now when it gets to the end, what's going to happen to the pressure built up? The pressure.
Increase.
How much pressure do you think's in this green line right now?
What?
300.
I wouldn't think a whole lot. Why would it have a whole lot?
Has to count up to 60.
It has to counter the 60, so we know we have at least 60. And it has to counter what else? Centrifugal twisting force. I don't know what that force is, but that's all it's going to be because there's no restriction. No restriction, no pressure. All it has to do is fight against 60, so it's got to be 60 to win. So it's at least 61. And whatever the centrifugal twist is, which I'm clueless how much that would actually be. So not a great deal, but it's going to pump until that gets all the way to the end. When it gets to the end, how much pressure are we going to have?
60 in the
Increase
still 60 in the L.
Same.
It'd be the same.
Oh, when this gets to the end and the pump is still trying to fill up this cavity and it has nowhere to go, what do you think the pressure is going to do?
Skyrocket.
It should go through the frickin' roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's, yeah.
Without anything else involved, it should go to a couple thousand PSI within a second or two.
Damn.
It's pumping a lot of fluid. This is what I say, you got to understand the correlation between fluid and restriction. Is there a restriction now when it gets to the end?
Yeah.
The entire thing is a restriction. It's a closed-end reservoir. Oil has nowhere to go. Pump is still going like crazy. What's the pressure going to do? It's going to go through the frickin' roof. Except there's a cutout switch for this very reason. Cutout switch. Right there. Pressure cutoff switch. When it reaches
650.
about 650 psi, this thing's going to say, ooh, that's a lot.
We're done.
And this is going to pop open, turning off the oil pump. And aerodynamic twisting force, because now the prop is like this, is going to hold it there in feathered position.
So it releases the holding coil, right?
Yep. Holding coil releases, feathering button pops out, time to light your cigar, and you're done. Okay, got it? Feather. Big button. Here, big button, about that big. Push the button. Mash it in. Mash that like button. Holding coil. Pulls it in. Holds the button in.
Mm-hmm.
Starts. It goes through the solenoid. Starts the electric pump.
Yep.
Electric pump starts the oil pump. Oil pump now locks out the governor and forces all the oil up into the backside of the dome, moving the dome all the way, the piston all the way forward
Until 650.
until the dome comes all the way in, hits the stop, blades come out like this, follow?
Yeah.
And the pressure builds up very rapidly to
650.
650 psi where the pressure switch goes, we're done. If you hit 650, you're like this, right? What if they had that pressure cutout switch at like 150? Maybe it would start to do that and go, oh, that's plenty. Right? You'd never get it to feather. So 650 guarantees a good feather. So feather, 650. Okay, now your feather. What holds it in feather? Aerodynamic twisting force. Place where I used to work, my good friend, I won't say his name. He had a Twin Beach. They're very, very cool airplanes. They have twin 985 radials on them. And so he bought this engine with two 985 radials. Guess what kind of prop it had? Hydromatic. So he's getting a checkout ride with a guy, and just kind of a familiarization, and they're flying around, and he said, you know, it would be a good idea if we at least shut down one engine and feather the prop so I can kind of get the feel for this thing and figure out how it goes. So what do you think they did?
Shut the engine down?
Huh?
Shut it down?
And?
Okay.
And how do they feather it?
Press the button.
Big button.
The button says feather. Boom. Mash the button in.
Oh, all right, here we go.
Right?
Button goes in.
Starts the pump.
Start the pump.
Pump goes out. Locks out the governor. Fills this up. Oil fills up the backside. Pushes the dome forward. Prop comes right in. Feathers. The button pops out.
Out there with aerodynamic twisting.
Held in place by aerodynamic twisting force. They flew around for a while. Everything was fantastic. And they said, that was really cool. Let's go ahead and put this thing back online and land. And they looked for a very, very long time for an unfeathering button.
Uh-oh.
They eventually had to declare an emergency and come in on one engine.
Oh, dear.
Just start it.
There is no unfeathering button.
Yeah.
No.
There is only a feathering button. So how does one unfeather this?
Push it again.
Push and hold.
Ah.
So you take the feathering button. If you push it again and let go, it is going to get pushed in. Energizing coil will hold it. It'll start the pump. The pump will rotate a few times. The pressure cutout switch will go, hey, 650, we're done. Pop. And the prop stays in feather. Okay, to unfeather it, push the button in and hold. You got to hold it this time. The holding coil is going to go, release, release. And it's like, nope, pilot holds it in, energizes the motor. The pump starts, goes around the cutout switch, it says, release. And the pilot says, nope. And that pressure is going to build up, just like it did before, and has nowhere to go. So, I'm going to go back this way. Has nowhere to go, because it's coming on the backside, nowhere to go. And so the pressure is going to build up to 650, 700, 750. See this big spring right there? Big springs go, what the hell? Pop, and it's going to pop and realign this whole valve right here. Realign the valve. So, where before,
Oh,
let me see.
this is drain.
I'm going to go back one. So before it came through this way, it did a loop and up. Now it's coming down here and it's not doing a loop. It's going through another hole over here, which makes this high pressure oil from the governor, 750 psi, get transferred to this side of the dome that used to be
60 PSI.
engine oil pressure, but now this side is engine oil pressure. So I can have 750 psi pushing this way against 60, and once it realigns, it starts pushing this dome back. As soon as that dome starts going back,
To the left. To the left.
start coming down this way.
Down.
Okay,
Unfeathered.
the prop will start doing this, and you can let go because it's going to start
Window.
windmilling. And then when you let go of the button, the pump shuts off. 750 goes away. This realigns itself. I don't know what's next. No. Realigns itself, and we're back to governor operation. I think it's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah. That's all I got to say about that. I think it's actually quite simple once you kind of get it. I don't necessarily need you to understand. We have a cutaway of the distributor valve. Yeah, do your best with it, but it's missing the middle part. So, but I don't think it's real hard to explain that. That's all there is to that. I think. Let me see. Let's see. Again, my notes are a little too detailed. Let's see. 3 main components. You got the hub, the dome, the distributor valve. We have the spider, blades, barrel halves, spacers, dome, low pitch stops. Governor, we talked about that. Pressure cutout switch, did the operation. Feathering system. Where do you get the oil from the feathering pump? Where does it come from?
Oil tank?
Oil tank. Is that oil tank is the engine's oil tank.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not its own special.
I was going to ask.
It'd be hard to do that because then you'd have a limited times you could feather
Yeah.
okay.
because the oil is going to end up in the engine. So it just uses the oil supply from the engine.
That makes sense, yeah. 'Cause, yeah.
It is possible. It is possible that the oil tank may have a standpipe. So, oil tank. You're no freaking help. I even tried to do it, stupid. Okay, oil tank. So, we could have the supply for the engine may come like this with a little standpipe, and then the supply for the oil pump may be like this down here. So that if we had, because you got to think about how these were used, oil supplies here, but bam, you get some flak, right? Because that's what they were. You get some flak, and you guys watch the World War II movies?
Yeah. I was
Okay, you got the flak, and it takes out the oil system, and so oil's draining out, and oil's going to drain out to right about here, and now what happens? This is for the engine.
Yeah, no engine oil.
Engine has no oil, so oil pressure goes to nothing. So what are they going to do? We got to feather that pump. They have any oil left?
Enough.
Yep. They have all this down here because the lower standpipe. So you want to leave a little bit of reservoir down there. So standpipe is the thing that goes up a little bit. That would give you reserve oil down there. So, looks like an Easter egg now.
It does look like
Let's see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, once he drew the legs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the legs.
absolutely. He's got some red pants.
All right, let me see. Humpty's angry. I really thought what happened to my little movie? Did I decide not to do it anymore? I liked it. It's just old guys with their Brillo
Old
cream in their
governors.
hair. Well, that's just sad. I took it away or something.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
Whichever the technician.
Oh, there it is. All right, movie time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Go back to my PowerPoint. Let's see.
Wait, so I'm confused. Are we-
Sit down.
Sit down.
Sit down.
Okay.
He's sitting going else get up.
Yeah, I was about to do that.
All right, let's talk about a little bit of maintenance on blades. Blades should not look like this.
no.
Yeah, it's not really.
Props like a.
What's the maximum allowable crack for an aircraft prop?
Zero crack.
16.
All right, you just jumped on that one. 0.
Zero crack.
Okay. What part of the prop am I looking at here?
Tip.
Yeah, face or blade, or face or back.
Looks like face.
Face, the part that faces the pilot. What color should that be?
Black.
Black. So we're talking about corrosion happening.
I thought the
Gotta-
paint runs off though.
Yeah, the paint has run out. No, it should slide down and cover that part
Oh,
here.
you're right.
So nips,
To prevent-
chips, and nicks should be blended out. Oh, that's a good one. This is just kind of I don't think it's a test question, the gee whiz thing. So one of some of the problems you can have with constant speed propellers, a complaint that you might get is that it's hunting. It won't stay on, and you see the RPM fluctuating back and forth. That can be caused by a couple of things. One thing is, you get sludge up in the crankshaft because that oil goes through the crankshaft, down the center, and out to the prop. And the crankshaft spinning the oil is a centrifuge, and it's going to separate out the leads and stuff, and the leads tend to stick to the crankshaft, which causes all kinds of problems. One of them is that lead traps in moisture, which will crack the crankshaft. There's an AD on that for fixed pitch. But you can start to get that hole will start closing off, and you don't get a lot of oil going forward to the propeller. So you have to take the prop off and desludge it. Or if you ever do take the prop off for maintenance or any reason, desludge it. Go in there with the stick and you scoop out all the sludge and throw it out. The other thing can happen is the transfer collars or the bearings. You could get a bigger gap between the bearings and the crankshaft,
Oh, you lose oil.
right? And so the governor's trying to push the oil in to that transfer collar or around the bearings and just spraying out everywhere else. So there's a test that you can do. You can use a differential pressure tester, take off the governor, and put air pressure into the governor line. So this thing go governor line internal around the transfer collar,
Yep.
and then that's where you're going to have a leak. And so you do a differential test. So this one you do 40 psi in, 6 to 35, big range, acceptable. Above 35, not acceptable. Below 6, not acceptable. So it's a good way to tell if you've got a good seal there. What if it is
5.5.
above? Okay, above 65, above 35. What would cause it to be?
Plug.
Yeah, so good that it doesn't leak. Yeah, you got a plug going in
Too
there.
tight, yeah.
It's like no oil's getting through. What if it's below 6?
Leak.
What'd you lose?
Bearing to crankshaft is too big. What are you going to put in there? You can squirt some like RTV down the hole, push it in, and it'll kind of seal a little bit. Yeah, don't do that.
Bar stop leak.
All right.
Yeah, bar stop.
This is a actual, what do you call it?
Bar stop leak.
Bar stop leak? I don't know what that is.
Like
Oh, I
engine-
don't.
Like car main
Check
seal
out.
leak or something.
Okay.
Like, it's like some.
Could you put an egg in there? Like, I've seen some people put eggs in radiators, stop leaks. All right, this is an actual governor gasket. It has a screen on it. When you order a gasket set for a lot of engines, it will come with a gasket that looks almost exactly like that with no screen. That is not a governor gasket. It is a governor plate cover gasket for aircraft that don't use a governor, but the case is mounted. So you put that and a cover on it. If you have a governor, you have the screen on it. And the screen would go into this little cavity there. That's my next slide. No. Screen will go into the cavity side. Otherwise, you smash the screen if you put it against a flat side. So this is against the engine with the curved side going outward. Let's see. We already talked about tracking. Let's see. What do I got going on here? I don't remember what this is about. Certified mechanic may perform supervised maintenance or alteration of an aircraft appliance part thereof which he is rated. Oh yeah, this is our 6581. Privileges, limitations. Can we work on propellers? We can, but excluding major repairs to and major alterations of propellers and any repair to or alteration of instruments. So what can you do to instrument? Not a damn thing. Okay, but you can work on props, just not major alterations or major repairs. Where can you find a list of major alterations and major repairs?
4313.
4313?
FAR 43.
43.
Appendix A.
Appendix A.
A for repair, B for alterations.
Okay, FAR 43, Appendix A.
That one.
So here are some major alterations. Can you do these major alterations? No. Change in blade design, change in hub design, changes in the governor control design. Okay, designs. How about repairs? Any repair to or straightening of steel blades. So our ground adjustable propeller, what if it has a little prop neck? Can you blend that out? I would put that under any and say no. Repairing or machining of steel hubs, so shortening of blades. Can you do that?
No.
Retipping wood props. No. Replacement of laminated wood fixed broach, elongating bolt holes, inlay work, repairs to composition blades. That's kind of a surprising one because repair manuals tell you how to do them. Repair of prop governors. What if you have a little leak in your prop governor? You just want to take it apart and put a new seal in.
No.
That is a major repair. Okay. Don't do those things. All right. Now is it break time? All right. Now it's break time. You can get up now, Brian.